What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Corvette Weekly. We're here today with David, DBM Racing, Brandon, Brand's Garage. It is their on week, so they're here to lend us their expertise. And we have a pretty interesting one tonight. We have a couple things to talk about and just something that kind of came out of nowhere. Last night, I was on my computer at like 2 a.m. and I got a bunch of text messages from some of you guys talking about how Harlan had been let go. And I'm like, what? No way. Like the one guy that I assumed would die as a Corvette guy, and they let him go. And we're going to talk about all this tonight because me and Brandon have been texting about this all day. We have some interesting feelings about this, some interesting possibilities as to why they were forced out, for lack of a better term. Based on what I've read, and of course, this is my take on this, it doesn't sound like it was his decision to retire. I'll put it to you that way. I think they gave him the option of either being fired or retiring. And of course, he's going to choose to retire for, that looks better on paper than getting fired. So, like I said, me and Brandon have been talking about this all day today. We have some interesting reasons in our heads, at least, as to why this could possibly be happening. But we'll get into that. For the month of February, guys, this Corvette Weekly is sponsored by RSC, Racing Sport Concepts. You guys know how I feel about them. They make some beautiful carbon fiber parts. Let me show you something else that's actually really beautiful. Their website.
I'm already on screen.
Check out their website, though. The picture that they use as the main website picture. Does it get any better than that? Whenever I loaded up
all their best Instagram stuff is your car.
I was going to say, I loaded up their website. I didn't even know that they did this. I loaded up their website and I was like, my God, is that ever a fantastic picture? Like it's
your car's all over my feeds. I don't know why, but like every feed, Facebook, Instagram, I see your car. I don't know if it's just the RSC stuff or what, but I feel like I see it all the time. And it's not just like your logo and stuff. I just see your car like randomly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, the RSC stuff really pumped it hard on
Dude.
IG. Like again, and their best posts. Like their best ads are your car.
I appreciate that, David. But
no, they are.
With all that said,
amazing.
With all that said, their website is actually set up very, very, very cleanly. They have obviously a really, really nice carbon fiber selection. But it's interesting because, again, if you go to their website, other than that amazing picture right there, which I'm not even saying that because it's my car, it's just a really nice shot of a car. But if you scroll down, we got all of the carbon fiber stuff that they sell here, which is obviously C8, Z06, E-Ray, and Stingray. But a lot of their promotional shots are of my car as well because, and there's a reason for this, not just because, I'm almost at 100,000 subs. I'm 80 away, guys, just so you know. But that's not why. The biggest reason that a lot of these pictures are of my car is because a lot of the products that they have just developed are on my car. So whenever they very first made the Z07 wing, I had the first one. Literally, that wing did not exist on anybody else's car until it was on my car.
You drove over there.
Yeah, I literally drove to the RSC, like their place where they developed this stuff. The front splitter was the same thing. They had the splitter, but they did not have the dive plates. I was the first one with the dive plates. So if you look at the corresponding parts, the Z07 wing, the dive planes, they're pictures of my car because no other car existed with those parts. Whereas you can see over on the right side of your screen, the carbon fiber mirror caps, I have that on my car too, but that picture is not of my car because those existed before they were, before the parts were out. So basically it looks a certain way. I mean, obviously I love my car and I love the way it looks on that site. I'm not going to complain the slightest, but it is because those parts did not exist on anybody else's car. That's why those promotional shots of my car were taken. Anyway,
didn't they do all of that stuff with you in Pittsburgh there?
Yeah. A lot of those promotional shots were taken right here in Pittsburgh, down in Southside, I think it was Southside Boat Launch or something.
They look so good, dude.
It was a really good time. It was cold as heck that day, and right around the time we were finishing up, a flock of geese took off and just crapped all over my car. I mean, literally, the car was covered in crap. I'm not even like, it wasn't like a spot here and there. I literally couldn't even see what color my car was. It was completely covered in crap. It was
I did not know
unbelievable.
that part of the story.
Yeah, I know. And
That's
I
hilarious.
told them afterwards, I was like, you're lucky they waited until you guys were done filming. Like, that would have
Right.
been a disaster.
Or if they were still rolling and filmed it, that would have been fucking
Yeah,
epic,
like
too.
slow motion crap. Oh, Lord. Anyway, guys, RSC is the sponsor of the video or the live videos this month. And I'm going to show you, I've already gotten an entry from Glass City Car Nerd. I love that, by the way, Jamie. He literally enters before he even knows what the giveaway is because he already knows it's going to be something good. And you're right, it is. So we got 2 giveaways from RSC this month. And the way we're going to do it is very similar how we always do it. Members are going to get 1 free entry. Every $10 is an entry. $50 or more is double entries. And in order to win, not only do you have to do one of those 3 entry methods, you also have to follow RSC and HPO on Instagram. So if you don't have an Instagram, you got to make one real quick and follow both of us in order to also win these things. So if your name were to come up, you better be following us, if you know what I mean. So
there you go.
What you might be winning would be some of this stuff. So we're going to actually do 2 separate giveaways, like I said. The first one is going to be the GTZ spoiler for the C8 Corvette Z06 and E-Ray. So that would be the spoiler right there. As you can see, it is carbon fiber. It's basically a ducktail spoiler. It will bolt right into the existing holes in the back of your Z06 or E-Ray bumper. So no need to cover anything up. This spoiler is actually really awesome looking. I saw this live at their shop. Just a thing of beauty as far as the carbon fiber is concerned. Now,
Nice.
For those of you out there who don't have a Z06 or an E-Ray, they're also going to do another giveaway for the same kind of spoiler, GT, on the C8 Stingray. So similar design, carbon fiber, similar look. Either way you cut it, you are winning over $1,000 worth of carbon fiber from RSC. So what we're going to do is we are going to just take entries as they come in. And at the end, we're going to, the end of the first 2 weeks, we're going to do the C8 Stingray spoiler. So if you are interested in winning a Stingray spoiler, one that will fit your Stingray, obviously, we're going to do that drawing within the first 2 weeks. So this Monday and next Monday, we'll give it away next Monday. Then the last 2 weeks will be for the Z06/E-Ray. So
Nice.
with all that said, that's a lot, I know. Members get a free entry. Type number 1 in the comments. You got to do this every week. If you do it every week, you end up with 4 free entries. If you're not a member, go get on the membership board, we'll say. We'll call it the board of members. If you get on that, it's only $4.99. You get an entry for about $5 less than what it would normally cost. So tonight and next Monday night, we are going to be giving away the C8 Stingray spoiler. If you're interested in getting on that, $10 is an entry, $50 or more is double entries. If you're a member, you get a free entry.
I have a question, Justin.
Yes.
If I'm putting in this week and win the Stingray, can I roll my over to the Z06? Like just push my money on the table?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So
put me down for 500.
How much?
500, baby.
500? Listen to this guy. Listen, that meeting must have gone really well today, David.
It did. Put me down for 500.
So David is in for $500. That you are basically guaranteeing yourself you are winning something out of that. So
no,
I gotta do some math.
One or something again.
500.
Yeah,
that's
Nate
gonna
will
be
win.
what?
Nate will win it with one free win.
Yeah, exactly. Nate will come in and be like, $10, and then he'll win. Or if he doesn't win, he'll complain about it. All right, how many entries would that be? Is that 100 entries, right?
I don't know. Plus my free win.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50 entries.
Wow, I cannot math. I literally cannot math. 50 is double entry. So for $50, you get 10 entries. How many entries is $500, David? You got to help me out here.
Bro, I don't have a calculator. What you need.
50.
Like any math
One,
at all. My
two,
job is all medicine.
Yeah, it's 100, right?
There you go. Kevin Horan, thank you, Grand
We're
Poobah.
bad at math.
What do you say? 100.
He
That's what I
said
thought.
101.
I was saying 100.
Okay.
So yeah, he gets 101 with his free entry. Oh my lord, I'm sorry. Math is not my thing. Apparently, it's not even David's thing. And here I am thinking David's like the smartest
No.
person I've ever met.
Brandon, you don't do math at work either, except for no. Do we?
Easy math, says Hot Rod Todd. Apparently, it's not that easy.
Thanks,
Everybody here is like dying. I thought it was 102. That's what I said initially. So I should have just gone with my first gut feeling. See, Red C806 says $500. Just give it to him. The problem is he may not win with $500.
That's right. I'm all in for the gamble, guys. Let's go.
And just like he said, Nate will end up winning it with one entry. It'll be his free entry
And then bitch
too.
about it.
And then complain about it. Yeah.
We love you, Nate.
All right, so Shane's in the house, guys. Let's get those thumbs up.
Oh, wait.
We got it.
Professor Corvette says actually it's 1,064 entries.
Nice. Of course he does.
Mr.
Mr. O says donate my one entry. No, Mr. O, you're gonna get that entry.
No, yeah. What if you win, Mr. O, with one entry? There you go, man. It's happened before.
It has happened multiple times. Like
Multiple times.
just
That's right.
And here's the thing. Like I honestly, I hope for your sake, David, donate $500. I hope you do win. But it would not surprise me in the slightest if you don't. Like it's the way that this thing has gone. This wheel of names, it does not prefer anybody. It will literally, it will break your back every single time.
It goes looking for the smallest piece of the pie.
I swear to God, it does.
Jay said he didn't win with 500. See, there you go.
That's true. And that wasn't even all at once. Like he donated that amount of money over the period of the month. That's true. And he didn't win. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no guarantee he wins. With that said, guys, keep the donations coming. Even if you're only throwing $10 at it, you're going to increase your odds of winning 10 versus 0. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody come take my money. Let's do this.
All right. So, yeah. So, David is in for $500. We got Jamie in for 50. So let's see what else we got here. Yeah, AARPM, Aaron, he says he feels like the wheel of names likes the underdog. It does seem that way.
Yep, it sure does.
66 thumbs ups currently. Thanks for helping us out here, Shane. We appreciate you being in here. It's a cruel mistress.
Hey, what's up, Shane?
Mark Surge says, hey, Justin, when you get a chance to answer the question, have you been able to find another way to replace the strip that covers the rear bumper holes? Yes, I have. Technically, David and I both have found the same method, but I'm about ready to share mine. I don't know how close David is, but I will have that shared for you probably within the next week. Randall Swanson donates $49.99. Thank you, Randall. I'll count that as a $50 entry, so you'll get 10 entries for this.
You know, and Brandon actually, what'd you say, Brandon? The bumper itself was, what'd you say, like $500?
Yeah.
And then painting it was what, I mean, like it wasn't that really expensive if you really in a jam and you just want to redo it.
I can't hear you, Brandon. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I was just saying, hello. Did you mute your mic like I did?
No, I can't see that he's muted. I can see that you were.
Okay. Fat fingers, man.
Can't hear you, Brandon. Maybe try leaving and coming back.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's that setting how it happened to me then. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, guys, Brandon's looked into ordering a bumper and it was only like $400 or $500, I think.
Yep.
And then to get it painted was a few hundred. I think you're only going to be in it for $800.
Yep. So that
really want to do it.
That was my other option here because if
Right.
I choose to keep the Z06 versus getting a ZR1, I was going to buy a Z07 style bumper and just get it repainted because number one, a brand new bumper is only about $500, but number two, I can actually use my GM points that I have to buy the bumper. So I'm not actually spending any money on any of this until I go to get it painted. And I actually know a paint guy up near me that can do it for a decent price. So that's going to be my option if I choose to keep the Z06.
Right. Yeah, because I can't remember. Yeah.
Can you hear him now?
Yeah, we were just waiting on you just because I can't remember the exact pricing.
There's a 15% off that I was able to find, like save 15 or something was the code through GM. And on top of that, if you search for different dealers, every dealer is a little different. I found one that was offering for less than MSRP, which is like 750. So it was like 500 and something dollars all in. That's with shipping and everything, pickup from the dealer,
With shipping.
less than $600 basically.
That's what I couldn't remember was the with shipping. So yeah, okay.
It was like 580, and there was like a $75 core charge. That's not bad for the rear
No.
bumper. It's an upper, obviously.
Well, and you figure like, you know,
Are
it's
they,
not
they're taking your
that hard to
other
check.
rear bumper?
Well, they call it a core charge. I don't
Yeah.
think you actually get. I think they just charge you that. I don't think
Okay.
you get it. If you
I was going to say
bring
that
the
that wouldn't
bumper.
make any sense that they take that bumper back.
Yeah, they $75. I think it's just you eat $75. I can't imagine they're going to give you 75. And who would take their bumper anyway? Who would
Yeah,
keep it
like
for 75 bucks?
I was going to say
Well,
for
exactly. But
$75.
you know what else I thought about, Brandon, after you were telling me this? Like, I haven't painted my chrome look exhaust pipe or porch yet, or the
Yeah.
tips. If you were going to do that and have it painted, you could have it painted whatever color you wanted when you did it, and you'd save yourself all the money for buying the black ones from GM and be
Yeah.
like same price, basically.
Same price.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my paint's held up pretty well. I've had to touch it up like once on my exhaust tips, and I just did that right up.
Yeah,
there.
that's what I plan to do, but I ever get time.
Yeah, really. Busiest person on the planet right here.
The only problem is the bumpers are like they're 2 to 4 weeks out, so it's like I don't know when it's going to come. So it's probably going to be a hot minute. That's the only bad thing.
Yeah,
Well, and again,
I'm
like,
curious
I've been
on that
stuck with this-
too. So let me know when that does come in, Brandon.
Well, and I've been stuck with this because I got my EOS spoiler and the bottom was cracked, and it's on back order for them, so it'll probably be the same amount of time. To be honest with you, you know what I mean? Like I have the top part is perfect. It's just that part that covers the bottom that was cracked. So I mean, if I order it and whichever one comes in first is the one I'll take.
Yep.
What did
And
it,
then-
did it get hit in shipping, or what happened?
Oh
David?
yeah, it definitely got hit in shipping. Like it looks like honestly, the way it looks like the whole box got bent enough that piece was just, and
Snap.
it's right in the middle of that piece on the bottom. It's dead center. Like it catches your eye immediately. Like there's no hiding it, man.
Now,
All right,
hey,
guys. Looks
Justin,
like I'm sorry, Brandon.
the
go ahead.
EOS floor that you have, it's taller than the one that they offer from. Or, I'm sorry, the RSC one that you have. It's taller a little bit than the EOS one, right? Like it's an inch or so taller, something like that.
It's actually the stanchion. So the spoiler itself is separate from the stanchions that connect to the car. The stanchions are 1.7 inches taller.
1.7 inches, so the overall height is higher. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, they're
it
they're
looks
just
good.
held on with 2 bolts on the bottom on each side, so 4 altogether. That's what holds that wing on. So guys, we got 80 thumbs ups currently. Shane is out there doing God's work, letting us know you got to smash that thumbs up button. Let's keep going. We got 200 people watching. We should easily be able to hit 100 by 8, and 200 by 8:30 would be the way to do this. So yeah, guys, like I said, I am 80 subscribers away from 100,000. So 80. And Starched Up here says that I'm a hair away from the goal of my 100,000. Yeah, we are right there. So I need 80 subscribers to hit 100,000. I told my wife I had a feeling I'd do it by February 15th. If we could do it sooner than that, that would be fantastic. I mean, literally, like I said, this whole thing makes sense at 100,000. Like that's always been in my head that at 100,000, that's when the YouTube thing is real. And we are so close, so close.
I told you before we came on, I'm on a crusade now. Everybody I meet.
Nice.
You could hit it tonight, could you not? I mean, you think there might be 80 people that's watching that could subscribe to your channel that don't subscribe? I mean,
It's possible.
potentially.
It's possible.
I know it's
Hey,
not
Foundry.
likely, but
Welcome to the live stream, buddy.
Nice. Foundry says he's having dinner with family, but he popped in to give a thumbs up.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's the kind of guy that's going to get
Yeah.
us to 100,000 subs.
That's exactly right. Yep. And I'll have some updates on those spacers at the end too, as well. So
That's a great idea, Tyler. Tyler says, let's do it tonight. Live stream continuity until 100,000. We will not turn it off.
ooh,
We might be here until 2 or
mean-
3 in the morning, but let's do it.
we'd be delirious.
Yeah. I mean, wait, is it 100,000? All right. So New Horizon says, congrats on approaching 100,000 subs. That's a huge achievement. Thanks, man. It really is. It feels gigantic.
It's
I
massive,
know there's
bro.
obviously much larger YouTubers out there, but 100,000 is like the goal for any YouTuber starting out it doesn't matter if you just started tomorrow, 100,000 is your goal. And I'm just about to hit it. It's a great feeling. It really is.
1,000 was
Yeah,
my goal. I was happy with 1,000.
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
that's all I wanted was 1,000. And
I was fine with
honestly,
1,000.
Yeah, I
should do
mean,
it like a
I guess I
quick
should reword that. Your goals change as you get
Yes.
to those, but
Yes.
100,000 has basically been my goal since day one. Like, yeah, I have
Yeah.
little goals in between there. Like 1,000 was a goal, of course, but that 100,000 was always like that ultimate goal.
Well, you know, and you were saying about that, you know, same thing, Brandon. I was like, man, if I could just get to 1,000, like whatever, right? I literally got a text with a video in the middle of the day, and it was Justin, and he was like, "Hey, I have another account here. I'm about," and he literally clicked my 1,000 subscriber. And
I
it was
was-
actually Justin.
And you know what's funny
He
is that,
was actually my 1,000 subscriber,
and that was not planned in the slightest. I
No,
pulled it
at
up and I
all.
looked at your
Why
numbers.
did you
I
not
was
do
like,
that for me, Justin?
I
feel
think I
like,
did.
I'm
I
on the
did.
third wheel here.
I did do it for you. I just didn't catch it at
Oh,
the same
yeah.
time.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
it's
it was so funny though because I was like, I wasn't even paying attention at all.
it's
And I got this text.
it's an old account that I used to use before I created the horsepower obsessed one. And I happened to just pull up YouTube and look at David's at the time, and it said 999. And I was like, all right, I got to do this. So I opened that up,
Yeah.
and I was like, 1,000 subscriber. And it was actually right after that I went and subscribed to you under that username too, Brandon. But yours wasn't at the time at 1,000. So
Oh, it was funny though because I was like, wait, what? I've got
Yeah.
1,000 subscribers, and Justin was 1,000th. Like it's so funny.
that is actually, I completely forgot about that. That is really cool, actually.
I did too until you just started talking about this. Like I literally completely forgot about that. It was just so crazy that it worked out that way. So.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got 230 people watching. Let's smash the thumbs up button.
Dang.
Let's get to 200 by
Let's get up there, guys.
8:30 would be really awesome.
And if you're watching and you haven't subbed, tonight is the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not
Tonight,
only that,
80
guys,
Something like that.
get entered to win some carbon fiber parts from Racing Sport Concepts. They make possibly the nicest quality carbon fiber on the planet, and you could potentially win a spoiler for your Z06 or a spoiler for your C8 Stingray for a $10 entry. The more you donate, the better your chances are. Then you also got to go and follow Horsepower Obsessed and RSC on Instagram, and you could win.
Yeah, and you cannot explain how much better the quality is. Like it's perfection. You know, I've never had problems with any of my EOS stuff, but when I was in your garage, like eyes on, looking at your spoiler or your wing, but it's perfect. They don't there's no corner. I mean, it's just perfect.
Yeah, their quality of carbon is just on another level.
It is 100%. Especially like in person, you're just like, whoa.
Kevin Reynolds
Hey,
says
Kevin Reynolds.
he just joined my channel. Heck yeah, man. Thanks,
Now that
Kevin.
you're done with that, go over to
I've dealt
Brandon's
with some
garages and
subpar-
click his. Go over to DBM and click his.
What'd you say, Brandon?
I've had some experiences. with some subpar carbon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to name
Yeah.
any
Oh yeah.
vendors, but
yeah.
you don't want to
The
go
one
there.
that said,
Trust me.
what was the one? The one said, what would it say? Replacement or something that you got that was written on it?
I'm
Oh
actually
my
going to
God,
mention. Can
seriously?
I mention them, Justin, or no? Should I mention?
Well, what
them?
did it actually say? I can't remember.
Text me.
It said
It said replace. It said replace on it. They
Replace.
sent me a part that said replace.
It actually had
And they're like,
replace
oh.
written on it.
What,
We meant
what's the,
replace the other parts.
what's the
We took that
name
one,
start
didn't replace
with,
the other one.
Brandon?
A.
Oh
Starts
yeah,
with an
you can
A.
mention that. I don't work with them.
I can mention.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Apsis USA. That was the company. I think if you're going to get something at that price point, you're way better with
Yeah,
EOS,
'cause they're
which
not
is cheaper
cheap.
and better quality.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are not
they're
cheap.
way more than
Apsis is
AOS.
expensive. They're expensive junk. That's my opinion, and
Yep.
you can take that. I'll take that to the grave. I would have put videos out on that, but I don't want to be that guy. But I'm not a fan of Apsis at
Oh,
all. The
yeah.
customer service is awful. Products were awful. That's just my opinion. So I'll leave it at
Yeah,
that.
if you had put that video out, man, it would have been ugly. Because I mean,
Yep.
between the product and the customer service you got, oh my god, it was terrible.
They told me to go to the hardware store and get me the bolts that were incorrectly sized that they sent me. They
Uh-huh.
wanted me to go to the hardware store and just replace them. Like that was a answer. Go to the
See,
hardware store and get new
here's the
bolts.
thing. I hate, and I obviously you do too, Brandon. I hate the idea of getting a product and bashing it because that's never been my
Yeah.
style. But at the same time, when things are dealt with a certain way, I almost feel like because of the position I'm in, and you guys are too, to some degree, it's almost like people look to you for that kind of thing. So whether you're happy or you're not happy, you really should share it in some way, shape, or form. And that's what I've been trying to do with the Segala stuff because
Right.
it wasn't terrible to begin with. But I'll be honest with you, the stuff does not age well. So whenever I made the videos about it initially saying that it wasn't bad, it really wasn't bad. But it has gotten progressively worse. And I could show you a piece on the Boomerang especially that has just turned like milky white. And it wasn't that way originally. So it's hard to give an opinion right up front and have it necessarily be in stone. If it changes, I don't necessarily want to bash the company that helped me out in the beginning. But at the same time, I want you guys to understand this might not be the route you want to go, which is why I say, you know, if you want to go cheap, but you want carbon fiber, yeah, Segala at least was the company to go with. But there's better companies out there. If you spend a little bit more money, hint, hint, they're going to get you a better, much better quality of carbon fiber. But of course, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, that's where I feel like the tiers are. Like RC's top tier, EOS is the best bang for the buck.
Yeah,
absolutely
Right.
shit. Like that's just where I'm, and I could name the other ones, but I'm not going to. But I think EOS best bang for buck, like for the dollar.
I was just gonna
RC
say
best quality for your dollar. That's just where I see it. But based on what
that's
I've
the
seen
best way
from
to put
David's
it.
car and Justin's car. So
Yep.
That's the best way to put it, dude. Is that best quality, best bang for your buck. That's
Yep.
it.
I'm a bang for a buck guy, so I will probably stick with the EOS style just because that's just me. If I had
Yeah.
a big budget, then RC would be where I would go.
Yep.
If I had the big budget, I just don't have. I have so many different cars, I can't just put that kind of money in those things. So for me, RC is kind of like just too higher price, but EOS is perfect for me, at least from that.
Says
So-
the man who just dropped all that money on carbon ceramic brakes.
Yeah.
Hey, well, that's still cheaper than like
It is
still like
cheaper.
like 3,000 or 4,000 cheaper than getting
It is
GM
cheaper. It is
CCVs.
cheaper.
But
I love
So,
But anyway.
Sean just asked a question that we kind of talked about a little bit in the beginning, is over at the RSC Racing Sport Concepts website, why a lot of the pictures on their website are of my car is because a lot of the products that they're showing in those pictures were brand new products that they had installed on my car and my car alone. So they needed product shots of the car, of the product on a car. And my car was the only one that was available for that because no car existed with their part on a car other than mine. So Sean is asking, does RSC do the carbon fiber boomerangs? Well, not yet, but they're sending me a set as we speak. So I'll install that on my car. And once I install it on my car and make a video and send them pictures and everything, you're going to see the pictures of my car again on their website demonstrating that boomerang because I'm going to be the first one with it. The reason they're sending that to me first is because, number one, the one that I have on there now is from Segala. And like I told you, it looks absolutely horrible. It is just, it has gotten to the point where it's super milky. Like it doesn't even look like carbon fiber now. It was not that way to begin with. You guys, a lot of you guys have seen this car in person at Carlisle and stuff. It did not look that way. So the fact that it does now tells me, obviously they're not preparing these products correctly to deal with water and time. So these are going to break down for people. And, at some point you got to realize for the most part with this stuff, you do get what you pay for. And Segala was the cheapest option at the time. So this isn't necessarily a surprise for me, especially knowing the way that the company has kind of gone at this point. If you guys don't know, they're going through some stuff. And, yeah, it's one of those things. You're going to pay more with RSC, but you're going to get it. You're going to get a much better quality thing. Yeah. So
Lee's got a PE.
what?
Did you see that, Brandon?
What do you say, David?
General Lee just said he's got a PE, blood clot in his lung. He's getting a
Oh shit!
shit, bro.
Oh well, at least they
you'll
figured
be
it
on
out.
Heparin,
That's
You're
good.
gonna be on some anticoagulation for a while. Sorry, buddy, man. I
Wow.
hope you feel okay. Be safe, man.
Well, at least they
Yeah.
found it. That's good.
That's the biggest part. Yeah, found it before it got
I wonder if
worse.
he had like flu or something a week ago. You know, David, how we're seeing a lot of that, like
a
post
lot of that. Well, that
post
flu that
flu
Justin
beads.
had was no
That's-
joke, man.
My dad had the flu that turned into pneumonia, and they found blood clots in his lungs. Same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Crazy.
General, that's not anything you want to mess with. Get to the hospital ASAP because they can at
I think
least.
he's in the ER right now, and they're admitting him. I think.
Oh, okay.
So. Okay, good, General Lee. Good.
Let us know what your echo shows, generally,
Yeah,
if you
you can
got a
email us
second.
or hit us on socials. Like
Holy
Brandon and I
cow.
both do this all the time.
Guys, we got 300 people in here watching right now. So let's smash the thumbs up button. Let's get this thing rolling to 200. Get some donations going for this this carbon fiber. We're literally giving away carbon fiber spoiler for a C8 Z06 / E-Ray or a C8 Corvette Stingray from Racing Sport Concepts. Some of the highest quality carbon fiber you're going to see. They are donating 2 of these for a giveaway purpose. We're at 133 thumbs ups currently. We're going to talk about some Harlan Charles news here in a second, but I want to get through some of these entries. It looks like we got a couple different entries in here on Venmo. So.
Well, and Brandon and I were talking, like, with your bang for your buck on the EOS, it's so good. But also we were talking about, how it's almost priced to a point where they can be throwaway items, right, Brandon? Like your front splitter.
Yeah.
Like it's almost priced to a point where it still looks amazing, but like if you jack one up, you're like, oh well, and you order another one, and you like, I mean, it's almost throwaway like with the pricing. It's so good, man.
That's my view on front splitters. I think front splitters are throwaway just from how much I drive. I crack those all the time. So I think, to me, it's not worth it to spend $3K on a front splitter when you can get the similar, or at least similar quality for under $1K. So that's just where I view it.
So here's my take on this, and I don't necessarily disagree with what you said, Brandon. I think a lot of people do view front splitters, especially as consumables. But with that said, I don't think there has ever been a car in my entire life that I've ever cracked the splitter on. And
because you don't drive in Georgia where they like.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't drive in Georgia. I don't drive in Georgia, but at the same time, I drive a lowered C8 Z06. I used to drive the lowered C6 Z06, which had a splitter on it. My ZR1 that's lowered all the way down on stock bolts with a big splitter on the front. Never once have I ever even hit those on something, let alone crack them.
But Justin, remember, I drive like 60,000 miles a year. So it's like I probably drive a little more than most people.
How many miles are on your
C8?
C8?
My viewpoint comes from. I have 8,600. So we probably have similar. Like I think 86 right now.
I'm at 92. So
something like that.
Yep.
And again, when you get into like Metro, right? There's washing machines in the middle of the freaking road. I mean, it's insane the stuff you see. I'm not even exaggerating. Jeremy,
deer.
Brandon asked them.
I hit a deer I hit deer. Like it's
you
like
hit deer. I remember.
You never know.
All right, so Mark Cutsy,
like a road.
Mark Cutsy says, Justin, your Metallica HPO shirt is badass. I used to make Metallica 3-foot sign on poster board growing up with my art background.
Nice.
So yeah, guys,
Mark, you and I got to be related.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it yet, this is a shirt I'm going to be offering on my website soon. It's horsepower obsessed, obviously, but written in the Metallica font. I'm a big Metallica fan. I thought, you know what? I saw it as an opportunity one day. I came across a website where they were offering Metallica font. I was like, what can I write in Metallica font that would be cool? Like, it literally took me like a day and a half to think about, oh yeah, you have a YouTube channel. Maybe you should try that.
It's amazing.
And I did, and I really like it. I think the shirt's freaking awesome. So if you guys do like this shirt, I'm going to put it up as a pre-order on the website here pretty soon. And once I hit a certain amount of shirts, I'm going to obviously fill the pre-order. But I don't want to go out there and buy 100 shirts and have them just sitting around. I have a bunch of shirts. My older shirts are sitting around, and I don't want to do that again. So
yeah, do pre-orders if you want to do
that's
that.
what I'm going to do.
And honestly, the best part about that font, the way you have that t-shirt set up, is it's like, and Justice for All, like Ride the Lightning Metallica.
Yep, exactly.
I love that.
The good stuff. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Hot Rod Todd says, no raccoons where you live. Honestly, yeah, we have raccoons, skunks, rabbits, possums. I mean, all the little things that could scurry out in front of you. There's something about whenever I drive my Corvette at night, especially, my eyes are just like you have to have your head on a swivel because I live kind of in like almost the sticks. So there's animals everywhere. Yeah. You got to have your head on a swivel, but I have never busted a splitter on an animal, on a speed bump, on a rock.
You better knock on some wood.
I was going to say, I better now because now will be the time.
You said it. You better knock on some wood.
If I do, I'm blaming Brandon 100%.
The BMWs and the Mercedes have the night vision stuff. Like I think that stuff's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Porsche has it too. Yeah,
it's pretty cool though. I like that. You can just drive with the night vision.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Charles S in for $10 on the entry or on the giveaway here. Charles S. Somebody asked in here how they go about getting in for the giveaway and what the giveaway is. So the giveaway for the month of February, there's going to be two different giveaways. It is a carbon fiber spoiler for the C8 Z06 / E-Ray or a carbon fiber spoiler for a C8 Stingray. Both of them are the GTZ versions on the RSC Racing Sport Concepts website. So I can show them to you real quick here, just so you guys have an idea. This is the one you would get for the C8 Z06 or E-Ray. It's kind of like a dovetail, but it is 100% real carbon fiber. And very, very, very similar option for the C8 Stingray. It's going to give you that same dovetail carbon fiber option. Now, both of these, as you can see, this one's $1,000, and then the one for the Z06 is about $1,600. So you could potentially win this thing for significantly less than what you would donate to get entered. So definitely check it out. I mean, we're all about doing cool giveaways here that, you know, will ultimately end up saving you money too.
Yep. Yeah, I think Nate put out a video. He ran over some animal in his E-Ray, and it had like blood and stuff all over it. I can't remember what he hit.
What did you hit that, David, on your car? What hit that corner?
Toolbox.
Toolbox, that's right. Okay, so you hit a toolbox. I've hit a deer. I've hit some like tire retread. So that's just all of us in Atlanta. That's all three of us have all hit something, all with less than like 9,000 miles. You know.
Yeah.
Well, hey, can I offer a tip?
Slow down.
Just don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
No, okay. So
I'll try.
When you come visit me and Brandon, we're just gonna spend about 2 hours of the day on 285 just going around Atlanta.
As long as
you're gonna be like,
as long as we're in your car, I'm totally fine.
No, we'll be in my truck. We ain't going in my car. Don't ever buy a mattress or a ladder. Don't ever buy a mattress or a ladder. If you live in Metro Atlanta, just drive around the bypass. There's a ladder somewhere. There's a mattress somewhere.
Nice.
Like I said, there was a washing machine for a month when I was driving.
So I got a comment. I got a comment on this. LT4 Powered says that Lars is going to throw something in front of HPO's car for stealing their logo. So there goes my splitter. And yeah, I was going to say Metallica's going to get me for using their font.
You'll get Napstered.
Napstered, yeah. White's Garage says, Justin, feedback on your channel. They are all saved videos on maintenance, car care, and mods are on point. So I appreciate that, White's Garage. I try to do the best I can. I like to make sure that basically, I remember whenever I first started my channel, somebody commented on a video that I made talking about my C7 Z06 at the time and said that they'd never be able to afford the car, but they like watching my channel because they can live vicariously through me. Those were their words. Right. And I remember after I read that, I was like, you know what? That's a fantastic thing by itself. Like I used to do the same thing. I'd watch certain people's videos on cars I'd never be able to afford because it's cool to watch somebody else enjoy that. So I was like, right, let's do that let's take that to another level and maintain them, literally show what it would be like to actually own this car completely, not just the good stuff. You know,
and you're genuine about it, right? Like you genuinely love these cars and that comes across in the content. You're not just somebody that GM handed a car to and you're like trying to find a way to make it appeal to you. Like you generally love them. There you go.
And that's where the channel started. Like I started with my C7 Z06 because that was, at the time, that was literally my dream car. The color and the spec, every single thing on that car that I had was what I had dreamt about. And I knew I would never get it. And then the one day I did, I was like, I got to share this. Like, this is, to get something like this, whenever I knew I'd never have it, it was just an amazing feeling.
Well, and on Brandon and I's videos, just like you're like, when we're smiling and laughing and enjoying our cars, whatever else, it's real. Like, that's how we are every day. Like, we love it.
It is.
You know, that's the thing. Like this week, I mean, I had like putting those CCBs on the car. I was kind of worried about how it was going to go. The install, like everything was so stressful during the whole thing. I'm afraid I'm going to screw them up. Then I finally get done, and then I pull it out of the garage, and it's like that feeling that comes over you after you've done something like that. Like you just can't replace it. Like I've been in on cloud 9 all day long because I'm like, okay, it worked. I didn't think it was going to work. It was a concept, and now that it's worked, I feel so much better. It's just it's different. Like only car guys really understand this feeling. When you do something in your car, you make it quote unquote better.
Exactly.
And it's something that you did. You know what I mean? Like you did to that car, and you made it better in some form or fashion.
Yep.
Well, just a regular guy. You know.
And piggybacking off of that, like Justin says before, right? Like somebody may think, oh, a Z button or like some carbon fiber add-on that Justin does or whatever. Like it makes the car better. It doesn't have to be crazy, but also on the other side, like when you tried the pressure controller for the transmission, that just
Yeah.
basically like bricked your transmission and the car wouldn't go whatever else. Like you learn that too, right? And then what did we have to do? We figure out a way around it to get to the track to be able to spray the nitrate, right? Like
Yeah.
that is of itself too, like we love doing that stuff. So
Well, it's
Yep.
all problem solving, right? Like that, like that's what keeps your brain going. That's what keeps us alive. It keeps all that good stuff. It's all like troubleshooting. I think people in general just like puzzles, and this cards list is like a big puzzle, and so we just like putting pieces together and seeing what works.
well, and it's so much different than any car we've worked on before. So,
Yes, that's
so
true.
much different.
Very true.
All right, Sean.
So-
And
I got
don't
you
know if
in.
it's a good way or bad way.
Sean, I got you in for 20 entries on a $100 donation. So thank you, guys. We're still taking the donations here for the giveaway. Looks like we got like 245 people still in here watching. Let's smash the thumbs up. Let's get to the 200. We are going to talk a little bit about the Harlan Charles
Harlan.
news.
Yeah.
Because
I'm gonna get passionate about that when we get.
yeah,
on
I was
that.
going
I'm
to
gonna
say,
have
me and
like,
Brandon
calm
had
it
some
down.
passionate
I was
words
saying,
going earlier. So
Calm it down.
yeah,
I'm actually really, really looking forward to hearing what you have to say, Brandon, because we probably have very similar
Yeah.
opinions.
I
so
think
guys,
so. I
while
think
we're
gonna be like,
while we're
Alright.
talking about this, make sure you keep smashing the thumbs up button and keep donating if you want to get entered for the RSC Racing Sport Concepts carbon fiber giveaway that's going to happen at the end of the month. We're going to have two giveaways. One will happen next Monday night for the C8 Stingray, and if you were to win and you don't want that one because you want to wait for the Z06 one, we'll give it to the next guy who wins, that kind of thing. So ultimately, yeah, Professor Corvette says, what? There's Harlan Charles news? Let's get into the news here, guys, because last night, it was about 2 a.m. I got a bunch of text messages talking about how Harlan Charles had been let go. And I remember thinking that was an odd way to word it because somebody who has the amount of tenure, we'll say he doesn't just get let go unless he did something really stupid. So I did as much digging as I possibly could, and unfortunately, I don't have an answer. I don't have a better answer other than what me and Brandon have kind of come to a conclusion on. And odds are pretty good. If I had to guess, I'd say we're right. Now, I'm going to start this off with rewinding almost a year ago to when we heard Taj Jukter had retired from his position. I am kind of in the mindset where now I'm starting to wonder if he wasn't forced out too. Because I remember thinking that the timing was odd because number one, yeah, you're releasing the ZR1, which is great, but you're not even done with the C8 lineup. Like, why would you retire now instead of after the C8 lineup is done? Like, if we're going to get a Zora, Grand Sport, whatever, maybe wait until those are released. But I remember thinking that's odd timing, unless, of course, maybe he's sick or something that we don't know behind the scenes. Obviously, that's not the case. So was Tej forced into retirement? I don't know. But now enter in the Harlan thing, and it certainly sounds like, and actually it's guaranteed, he was forced into retirement because he flat out said he didn't want to go. He was given really no choice here. He has 37 years at GM, and someone approached him and basically said, "Hey, you're out. You if you don't retire, we're gonna let you go." So they retired him, is what happened. Why? What's the point? And Brandon and I started thinking about this, and then there's one other guy. What was his name? Kirk Bennon?
Kurt Binion.
And what was
He's
his...
the exterior designer.
Ooh,
for
exterior
the,
designer.
C7, C8. Yeah, he designed the exterior, for what I understand, for the
So
C7.
if that's the
C8.
case, he designed, in my opinion, two of the nicest looking Corvettes to ever exist, and he's being let go. There's only one thing that comes to mind. There's one thing. I don't know how old Kirk is, but I do know how old Taj is, and I do know how old Harlan is. They share one thing in common. They're old. And if they're old guys don't like electric. So are they planning on doing something with pushing the Corvette specifically, or their high performance cars, into an electrified future? Now, one other thing to think about is Tony Roma, who just came to replace Taj, came from Cadillac, and Cadillac is obviously no stranger to the idea of a full electric vehicle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're onto it, honestly. I mean, the Kurt Binion thing, I don't know if that's like official yet, if he's released much information. I don't know, the forums are talking about it.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's gone, you got Taj that's out, and now you got Harlan that's out. You got three of the old guard that are all out now,
Right.
big wigs at GM. I mean, why do you get rid of like that's probably combined like 90 years or
Yeah,
something?
why would you
80
get rid
years
of that?
experience. The only thing I can think of is if there was a disagreement between the direction that Corvette was going. That
Right.
makes the most sense to me. There was a
100%.
disagreement on where they thought the buyers wanted to go, and they either are leaving because of it or they're being forced out because of it. Because you look at Stellantis and what they did when they brought in that new CEO, the previous one, not the current one. They brought back
Yeah.
the old guy that'd been in
Yeah.
there for forever. But the whole going electric thing, bringing in the young blood, the whole thing, that it's just very frustrating to me because you've got guys that put their life into this car. Regardless of what happened with anybody else, the fact that Harlan Charles was forced out, the fact that he put his life, 24 years into the Corvette brand, that is very frustrating. All of us, most of us have worked for companies for a decent amount of time. And if you have, you know that you put your blood, your sweat, your guts into these corporations, and then to get treated like that, that to me
Yep.
is very frustrating. It hits close to the heart in multiple different ways. But the fact
Yeah.
that he was there, it personally had so much influence on the Corvette brand, and it
Yeah.
just to be pushed out for whatever reason it may be. I don't care what the reason is. You don't do that to a senior member unless there's some egregious action that he's performed
Yeah.
that requires him to be fired. You don't do that to somebody
I agree.
that you've employed for that long
mean,
that has
even-
that much influence on the brand.
Even like you're
That's my
saying,
opinion.
Right.
even if they did something egregious like that, it's not something that is just as simple as like, okay, you're done. Like, you've been there for 37 years. Whatever you did better be really freaking bad, because let's picture what, I mean, obviously we're not going to be able to actually do this, but just try to imagine what the Corvette would be like if it wasn't for Tatch, if it wasn't for Harlan. If those guys didn't have,
and Binion.
yeah,
And
and
Binion, like even Binion was
if it
part
wasn't
of the
for
C5
those,
Z06 design.
if it
And that
wasn't for those
C5
guys,
Z06 is still sexy.
yeah. If it
Well,
wasn't for those guys,
people
we
wonder-
might not have the Corvette at all to imagine what, like, I can't even imagine what it might look like. It might look like a Prius. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, and David and I in our field, we're in like the corporate healthcare field, and
Right.
the loyalty to corporations now does not exist. Everyone is out for themselves.
Yep.
And corporations need to take a good long look at themselves and say, why is that the way it is nowadays? Why are employees staying for 2 years and leaving? Why are they bouncing? It's because it's not like it used to be. And I understand like times are
Right.
changing and like we're going to sound old by saying all this stuff, but I get that. But it
Yeah.
shouldn't be like that. There should be some sort of loyalty.
I agree.
There's no way that Harlan should have been forced to leave. They should have said, hey, we're going to give you another desk over here. You can go to Cadillac, whatever it may be, sit there and live out your days. We're going to give you whatever you want. You keep your same pay. The only thing that makes sense is either A, they're just cracking down on money, which that doesn't make sense. This is three people. Like that can't be a big
No,
in the
yeah,
grand
that-
scheme of like
Right.
that's pennies on the dollar for GM. They don't give a crap about
Right.
that. I don't
Yeah.
think
If you
it's money.
want to get rid of the money,
It's
you
got
get
to
rid
be
of
vision.
Mary
It has to
Vera.
be vision.
Well, and also
Mary
too,
Vera is
think-
the one
think-
making all the money.
Exactly, but also too, like you said, Justin, about trying to imagine what
Yeah.
without them, right? Like I think, like look at what GM did with the Camaro, right? I honestly think the Corvette gets killed at some point if it wasn't for
Oh,
a lot of what
It
those
almost
three
died
individuals
after
brought.
the C4.
It almost, and then Binion, like I said, he was big into helping with the C5 Z06 and the C5 design. But like, look where these three guys took Corvette, right?
Yep.
All the way up to where we're at now with the ZR1, okay, the Z06, the original Blue Devil ZR1 for its time didn't even make sense for its time, right, Brandon? I mean, like it had the
Yeah.
Ferrari Enzo brakes, the power to weight, like all the material things. It had carbon fiber fenders, carbon fiber body panels, like. For its time, it was, and these guys are responsible for it. I bet it would have gotten killed off like when they killed off the Camaro. It probably would have been the same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And
See,
They
look
need to
at-
learn a lesson from Stellantis. Look what happened to Stellantis when they tried this shit
Yeah.
with their CEO.
Right.
see,
Right.
the
And they
thing
brought in
is
the
though,
young blood.
the thing
But see
is
how
though,
long he
Brandon,
lasted. 2 years he lasted.
as much as we think that is possibly the case, there's no guarantee that that's what they're doing. And as much as I think that it has something to do with the electrified future, I can't say for sure that that's what it is, because there is one other alternative. And I started talking about it tonight with my wife whenever I said something about Josh Holder, because there's like a lineup of guys here that if they're leaving because of something that happened. So let's say, you all work underneath Tad's tutor and Tad is retiring, and now you're thinking, well, crap, I don't want to work for the next guy. I'm out too. Maybe something like that. But then I was like, well, if that's the case, Josh Holder's out. And he's
Right.
not. And then I started thinking, I was like, well, Josh
Yeah.
Holder's also a lot younger. So maybe they just want young blood in there, which is fine. I get it. You want some young blood looking at your new products here. But at the same time, you don't can the old guys, because those are the guys that know everything about the last 40 years of development. You don't just get rid of them. Maybe you start bringing up the younger guys into better positions where they have more of a say, but you don't get rid of the older guys. You can't do that. So losing Taj and losing Harlan, this is going to have a gigantic effect on the Corvette team in general.
And I'm gonna say that this happens again, piggyback like Brandon and I, what we see in our jobs. But who makes these young guys? Like, who makes Josh Holder the next Taj, the next Harlan? Like, why? It's the Tages and the Harlan. It's that mentorship. Like Brandon was saying, don't get rid of him. Just bring him in and let him be the guy that everybody goes to when they need an answer.
Use a resource.
Use the resource.
Make him a resource.
Why would you get rid of that? Like, keep him as a resource to be like, hey, Harlan, look, we're looking at this, we're looking at this, we're looking at this. They sit it up on the desk in front of him, and he goes about, well, yes, maybe not. Okay, I like this, I don't like that.
Well,
but
if we
look
at
it, not
it,
going to get that.
If we look at it in the way of, I like to kind of connect everything to football in some way, shape, or form. So obviously, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I used to watch and love watching Brett Favre. And I remember whenever they brought in Aaron Rodgers, this new young guy, I was like, what the heck's this guy all about? Like, Brett Favre's the guy. We don't need him. But what ended up happening was Rodgers sat on the bench for a year or two behind Favre and got to watch what he did and improve on what he did, perfect what he did. And then Rodgers comes out and he's even better than Favre. So it's like, that's what you need, that leadership. That's why you don't get rid of the old guy. I mean, Favre was probably ready to move on within the last 2 years of his career. He probably shouldn't have even been there, but he was literally teaching Rodgers, and they could be doing the same thing here with Josh Holder sitting behind Taj and Harlan, which is why until they come out and say something, I'm going to believe that they did this in a stupid way. So unless they come out and say, hey, we got rid of Harlan because he did XYZ, and I'm like, oh, okay. If we don't get that, then I'm going to believe the GM is just stupid for doing this.
Experience is priceless. David, you know that. We see that in our field all the time. Experience is absolutely priceless. You can't put a dollar value on experience and having time in the field. You can bring in a new guy that's got the new degree, whatever you want to do, but you cannot give them the experience of 30 years. That is priceless, in my opinion. That's why it seems like such a mistake on so many different levels. We see that all the time, David, in healthcare, right? Like, you see it
100%. And somebody comes to Taj or Harlan and they're like, hey, look, we're in this problem. What are we doing? And they're like, okay, well, I remember back when we were trying to do this on the C601, or we were trying to do this on the C70.
You can't teach,
I remember,
whatever.
You can't teach experience. That's exactly
it. No,
it.
you can't. That's why you have them as consultants. You don't kick them out. Like, that's so frustrating. I feel so bad. Honestly, I feel horrible for Harlan, because he wasn't even, I don't know what his age is. I think he's probably like in his 50s. That's my guess. He looks like he's in his 50s, but maybe at most like early 60s. But either way, like, that's horrible to do that to somebody who's put their life into your company, and to just pull that rug out from them and say, see you later, bye.
Not that this changes much that we're talking about here, but I'm getting I'm texting on the back end here and getting kind of confirmation of another avenue I was thinking of with this, is that GM wants to go cheaper and younger. And we kind of mentioned that too, where it's like, as someone like Harlan having 37 years in the business, he probably was making a decent amount of money, but like you said, Brandon, he's not breaking the bank, but he's making enough that if they can they can hire 4 people to replace him at 20, 30 years old. And while that's not a terrible idea in itself, you don't get rid of the old guy to do that. You do that together with, I keep calling him the old guy, and I hate doing that because he's probably not even that old, but he has the experience that the young guys are going to need. And this is going to end up being an issue. 100% it's going to end up being an issue, because the young guys are going to come in with all these great ideas, these bright, crazy ideas, and they're not going to have any idea how to implement them because they've never done it. Whereas the older guys that they have fired or let go for whatever reason, they did know how to do it.
Just learn from Stellantis. Like, if I could say anything, learn from Stellantis' mistake. They made this mistake already. Look at their brand. It is dead. Don't kill the Corvette brand by doing this crap. The young people don't understand. No offense to anybody who's like super young. I'm, relatively, we're on the borderline. I don't know, middle age, whatever.
We're right in the middle.
Yeah, but either way, like you
Right,
don't kill
no.
the brand. You take the people that know the brand and know the buyers, and you keep them in place. You don't put in a 20-something-year-old that's on their Xbox, and you expect them to come in and say, "Hey, I know exactly what the people want for these cars," because they don't know. The people
Yep.
that know are the people
Right.
that have been doing it forever. That bought the cars, that lived the dream, that had the posters. Those are the guys
Yeah.
that need to
Right.
be driving the ship,
Yep.
not the guys playing the video games. No offense to anybody who's 20 years old or whatever in this.
I
Well,
I,
it,
I like video games too, so I don't.
Brandon, you got to
Well,
read
I'm
Bill
looking
Miller's.
behind
You got to read.
you.
Me too. You got to read Bill Miller's comment. And Mark
Okay.
Hutsey said that Harlan and Tej are unconstrained. But
Oh
Bill says that
man!
in our case, people die because inexperience kills.
If you want
Gene
to,
will
if you want to
just sit
use
out
a
of
word,
TSP.
if you want to use a word that everybody understands in this chat room, it is
It's
constraint.
constraint.
It's constraint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It
But you
is.
can't teach that. You're
It,
right.
it is
And
an
I'm glad
unfortunate
Brandon didn't
thing.
feel that way because it's. Yeah,
It is.
It's
This
sad.
whole thing is unfortunate because not because they're trying to move to a younger demographic, a younger, even a younger idea squad kind of thing. That's not the problem. The problem is you having zero loyalty to the people that have been loyal to you for 37 years, having no loyalty to the guy who is going to help those young people through the tough times. Like they're going to find out the hard way that this is not the way to do it. And I keep hearing
Well, and
that Harlan was actually fired, not forced, not even
Yeah.
forced out. Like he was literally fired, which is even
Well,
worse.
Yeah, and it adds up
Especially-
for about two things, right? And I can't remember who said it back in the comments just a minute ago, but it kind of lines up with C9 development.
Yeah.
And
EV.
the C9 the C9 is going to be make or break because of the decisions that GM has just made
Yep.
with Taj, Harlan, and
Yep.
Binion. It's going to be make or break because it's now Taj didn't have anything to do with it. He's a proven. You know, same Harlan, a proven. Right? They're known entities. Now we have all this new stuff, and the C9 is going to be where they get to show what they're capable of doing,
Yep.
and we'll see.
Yep.
It makes you wonder though, like it really puts a lot more to me food for thought on the C9 being fully electric. As much as I hate to say it, at least at a minimum, starting out as a hybrid first couple of years, and then the plan being full electric. Because if I was on the Corvette team and I said, "Hey, I want this to be hybrid. We need to keep the ICE engines in the cars forever. That's what people want. They want
Yep.
to hear the noises. They want to experience the thrill." And then they said, "Nope, nope. We are going straight up. We're going to compete with Tesla. We are going to go straight EV." And they told that to me, at least from Taj's standpoint, I might be like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm out. Deuces."
Right.
And so, I mean, it has to at least add a little bit more food for thought
Well,
to that theory,
Brandon,
at least
say,
somewhat.
if you can remember, say what you said to me earlier, because I thought that was a really good, we've talked about before the people on the screen you see here now. Brandon is the most pro electric guy here. David is the second most pro. I am completely against it. So with that said, Brandon told me earlier, he said, I love the idea of electric, but
I
don't,
And I
there's
have
times
Teslas,
and
and
places for it.
Yeah, like my daily driver, I want it to be electric. I love the experience of my Tesla. I want to drive it daily, but on the weekends, I want to hear the noises. I want to have the experience. I want to make sounds. I want to experience the thrill of an ICE engine. If it has electric assist, that is perfectly fine, but I don't want quiet. I don't want the Tesla on the weekends. I want the Tesla for when I'm driving to work.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
want the Corvette for when I'm going and doing the weekend driving, the fun shit. That's what I
Yeah.
want the Corvette
Well,
for. I don't
and
want the
that's
Tesla for that. The Tesla is not fun. I love it. It's a great driver. It is not fun. It's just not.
and that's what
That's
I've
my
said a lot.
my
Like
opinion.
your plaid is really, really fast, but it's boring fast.
It is boring
It's
as hell.
sleepy fast,
But
boring as hell. It'll click off
Yeah, and
9.5,
see,
9.5,
and
9.5,
just
9.5.
so
yes,
But
guys,
no,
just so we're all on the same page here, we're not saying that this is definitely what's going on. This was just me and Brandon
it's all
spitballing.
speculation.
Yeah, this was all speculation. This was us spitballing on the outside of this, saying, you know what? I hope this isn't what's happening here. But there's been two good points brought up here that I wanted to mention. And Steve Robertson says one. He says, "Do you think corporate blamed Harlan for the rollout of the C8 variants? Like basically how poor they've handled, the
Now-
demand for this car. Do you think that was blamed on anybody specifically? Maybe Harlan."
That's a good point because he named the E-Ray. Remember, Harlan did. I mean, it's a possibility in the theory. I doubt it, but that's a possibility because he named the E-Ray. He was responsible.
I
for the
actually
naming,
like the
understand.
name E-Ray. To be honest with you, like
I think
thought
it's
it was-
clever. I mean,
I think it's
but,
very
yeah, I don't know how
clever.
much more input he had, but I know he named it. That's my understanding.
And
No,
I'm,
I
with-
did- I
I'm
didn't
with you.
know
Like,
that.
I think
Yeah,
a
he
hybrid.
put that in his email or his I don't know if his post or Facebook post. He put like on his accomplishments. That was one of them
Right.
was naming of the E-Ray.
Huh. Okay. Well, if that's the case,
I mean, I don't know if he absolutely was responsible. He listed it as an
if that's the
accomplishment,
case
but-
and he really was responsible, I'm not going to be able to find it now, but even Steven's in here, Supercharged E-Ray, and he even said the same thing, that the E-Ray was just marketed very poorly. Like, at some point, GM...
it wasn't marketed. There's no
Exactly,
marketing.
exactly. But
Yeah,
GM
exactly.
executives are going to have to point the finger at somebody someday on why wasn't this marketed, or why wasn't it marketed better? Who was responsible for that? Oh yeah, that guy, he named the car. Okay, he's responsible for it. I don't know. Is that how it works
They
there?
want to market it.
They
Give
did
one to
market it.
Justin. Give one to you, Justin. If they want to market it, give it to you
Yeah.
and have put out a bunch of YouTube videos on it. That's how
Well,
you
but-
market it.
I
What
agree.
they're
Even
doing,
that,
I don't
though-
know because I don't see anything about it other than what
And
we
then that's
talk
the
about.
thing. That's exactly what I was going to say, Brandon. So these people that got Z06s handed to them very early with the Amelias, the Speed Phenoms, all these people. Nobody got an E-Ray early
Yeah.
for social media to be like, hey,
Yep.
get out there and show.
but
how
they
good
did get a
and the cars
Z06.
are- Yeah,
Except for
exactly.
Jesse Awuji. Awuji, is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
He's the only
Yeah.
one I know of that got. I don't know if he got an E-Ray or he bought one. I'm not sure, but
He
I know
bought
one.
one. He didn't get
He
one
bought it,
because he
yeah.
had
But
a
he is a car
Z06.
guy, so there's
No,
at least
yeah.
that.
Nobody got
You know.
nobody got an E-Ray, just like David said.
Nobody
Nobody
got
was
an
given
E-Ray.
one. The only
okay.
thing
Nobody
Okay.
got one.
The only thing that existed on the E-Ray that was even remotely cool, like advertising wise, was when they were doing the donuts in the in New York City
Right.
Town Square or City Square, whatever it was, on the ice rink. They were doing the donuts. That was pretty cool.
Right.
That was literally the
Right.
only thing that
That was
sold
it.
that car. That was it.
Right. That was it. But the thing though is too, like, I mean, the car's a home run, right? It really is. But they didn't even, like we've talked about, they were lazy about marketing anyway. They let everybody on social media do the Z06 marketing, which they did a great job for it. But they didn't even get it out there to get the marketing done. And then once it was out, there was a couple of hundred out, and there was nothing on social media. There was nothing.
But Chevrolet really has never done a lot for marketing. I feel like they've relied on I don't know what, but I don't feel like there's ever been a huge marketing push for Corvettes. Can you think of a time, Justin, where there's been like a lot of money spent
the
on
last
the Corvette
time-
brand for marketing?
The last time I can remember a commercial, and I've mentioned
G6.
this will be my third time now on a live video talking about this. The last time I remember a marketing commercial for a Corvette was a C6. And
That's what I said,
it
C6.
wasn't even
Yep.
for the freaking Corvette. It was for the new Cobalt. And that was the only commercial I can recall off the top of my head of a Corvette. And that was a C6. And it wasn't even for the Corvette. So it's like,
Justin,
Hmm.
they used magazines. Remember, it was all magazines. That's
Yeah.
how they did it. Magazines were the only
Yeah.
way you knew about. And what happened to magazines? They died.
Gone.
They're all dead.
Yep.
There's not name another magazine that's at Road and Track. Is
But
that
they
even-
So,
they
GM
really did not do.
GM has to
No.
have consciously done what they did with purposely not advertising it, but slowly leaking details out to certain people, especially on YouTube, that we're going to talk about it. Because YouTubers in general made the C8 Corvette in general as popular as it is. The C8,
Yep.
whenever I first started my YouTube channel, that's what I was doing. I was making news videos on the C8 because it was like this new Corvette, this new mid-engine thing that nobody knew about. Everybody was talking about it. So we're making these videos. We're pumping this thing up to the point where you couldn't get one. You literally couldn't get one.
Right.
Honestly, you haven't really been
Right.
able to get one until maybe the last 6 months or so that you could even just like walk in and get a car. It has been almost 5 years of development, and you're only just now able to walk in and buy one. Like, we did that. The YouTubers did that. So GM saw that and said, let's save ourselves a boatload of money. We're not going to advertise this thing at all. Just trickle it out to the YouTubers. Let them do it. But then
Right.
whoever was in charge of the E-Ray dropped the ball because that did not make as big of a splash as the Z06 did. And it's not because the car's not good. It's because they didn't do it right. They didn't give it to the YouTubers. They didn't slip out little things here and there of leaked rumors and stuff. They did it all weird. And honestly, they're doing it kind of the same way with the ZR1. They're not doing it in a way that is building hype. They're doing it in a way that's just getting it out there and calling it a day.
GM needs to fire their marketing people, not Harlan Charles.
Yeah,
Like they
there
need
you
to
go.
fire the marketing people. There's the problem, not the engineers. The engineers are not the problem. It's your marketing's the problem. If
Yep.
you really want to look at yourself and
Yeah,
self-reflect,
and it's a
that's the
damn
problem.
shame because that E-Ray is a home run. It is a damn shame. And I mean, again, and somebody just commented too, like the rollout on, like Justin, you mentioned it, right? Like the rollout, right? There has not been, and again, Corvette's notorious for this. We've talked about it before. This is nothing new to Corvette, but it was actually especially bad with C8, but even worse with the E-Ray. But stuff being on constraint, and it's this new concept in all the automotive industry of parts on demand. Like they show up that day, they go on a car, and done. Well, if you can't produce them and get them to there, you can't make cars. But they just did a terrible job of rolling that E-Ray out. It was
Yeah.
bad, and the car's a home run. It's a shame.
But
It
here's
really is.
here's the problem with that though, David, is that they're doing the same thing on the ZR1. There's almost
Well, at least
Yeah.
the
Like,
ZR1 though has the top speed video and all this other stuff. They
yeah, but
had,
the C8 the C8 Z06 had its own launch day video.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was a thing.
Yeah.
It was an
Yeah.
hour and a half long video talking about how great this car was and all these great accomplishments.
Well, I
It's like
watched every
that,
minute of it.
and so did I. And it's like it's one of those things where it's like I was so pumped for this car, and meanwhile it didn't even arrive for 2 years after that. I could not contain my excitement. But then with the ZR1, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, they're going to do the same thing. I set up a live video, hoping to share the excitement with everybody, and then the clock strikes
5
a certain
minutes.
time, and
Yeah, it was
there's
like
a
5
video
minutes.
online that's 5 minutes long and that doesn't tell you anything. And I'm like, wow, was that ever
Yeah.
a letdown?
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
that's
maybe
just a
they're
great
just
car.
banking
That
on the
car,
fact. Well, maybe
they
they're
need to
just
on
banking on the fact.
Nürburgring getting times.
That will help.
The
too.
Yeah.
ZR1
They
needs to be
moved-
all over
Yeah.
media all the time.
And if
That
they
car
did it, if they
is
did it right,
pinnacle.
if they did it right, they would be leaking out information as we get closer to the date of seeing this car. We would be getting, and they did this to some degree, but we'll leak out the quarter mile time, then the top speed, then the maybe the top speed of that quarter mile time. Then we're gonna leak out the Nürburgring time. Maybe we leak it out first though as 6 minutes and 52 seconds, and then we leak it again in a week later saying, you know what, we bested that time. It's actually 6:48. Something along it, like build the freaking hype.
They
It's not that hard.
They could
No.
have been doing that for 6 months.
Yeah.
Just
Justin-
on a Nürburgring time alone, they
Exactly.
could be pumping that for
Because
6
every single
months.
time you release a number, the YouTubers are going to go
Yep.
nuts with it. And then you release another number and say, you know what, we bested that number. YouTubers are going to go nuts again.
Yep.
And you know what? One last time we went over there just for giggles to see, and guess what? We bested it again. YouTubers are going to go nuts. And we're doing all the advertising for you. You're not even paying us. We're advertising because we like talking about the car.
Well, not even YouTubers, like dudes at work that are like, "Holy crap!
Yeah.
Did you see what?"
Yeah.
Blah, blah. Like the word of mouth will explode. But they could have been pushing this for months and months and months and months.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, you like your lyric, right? You like the lyric, the
Mhm.
Cadillac.
I do.
You and Amber like it, right?
I do.
Have you seen any commercials on it, Harley? I mean, what, one or two tops?
I've
Any
not
sort
not
of push
seen
for that thing.
I've not seen any. Actually, the only commercial I saw was recently for the V, and it was on YouTube. So
Okay,
Right.
how many people come up to you and say, "What is that?" when you're driving? They have
all
no
the time,
effing clue what
all
a
the
lyric
time.
is.
They've never seen it.
All the
Yep.
time, right? Okay, same thing with E-Ray, right? Nobody knows except for us
Well-
what the freak it is. It's so frustrating.
That's
Yep.
the biggest complaint that Nate has, is that people don't even know. Like he even like bought E-Ray stickers to put on it, and he's gonna get like blue all-wheel drive sticker, or he has a blue all-wheel drive sticker or badging or whatever. But like that's just kind of like nobody knows that it's an E-Ray. Like what is it? He'll be like, no, it's an E-Ray. Somebody actually argued with him at a car show. No, man, this is Stingray. No, it's an E-Ray. You mean a Stingray? Nate's like, I'm confident it's an E-Ray.
Yeah, I'm
But they
confident.
didn't
Yeah,
even know the
my
name.
title says
You know what I
E-Ray
mean?
on it.
Yeah, but they didn't even
flip
know the
side to
name. They
this-
were just crazy.
Take the Teslas. Tesla has almost zero marketing. Find a Tesla commercial. They don't exist, right? Tesla
don't
doesn't rely
exist.
really on any marketing. It works for them because everyone knows what a Tesla is. Ask anybody what a Plaid is. They're going to know what a Plaid is. I don't know
Yeah.
how they're able to do it, but they're able to market without spending $1 on marketing. GM could do the same thing if they wanted to. They're just not, or they just don't have the wherewithal to be able to
Well,
figure
but
that out.
That's
But give it to
Justin's
Justin.
point.
You could run their marketing department and probably double
Yeah.
their sales in
Well, and
like
that's
a year.
Justin's point.
Well,
That they put the Plaid out there, gave it to a bunch of people on
Yeah,
YouTube, and
yeah.
everybody was raising the Plaid
So-
against everything on the face of the earth.
the biggest thing to consider here, though, Brandon, is that in generations past and generations future, the Corvette doesn't really need a lot of help selling. It really doesn't. I mean, at the end of the day, the Corvette has its group of buyers, and they're going to be buyers forever. I mean, unless they do something really stupid and make it all EV. if they don't do something like that, you don't really need a marketing department specifically for the Corvette because the car's going to sell itself. And I mean, I don't know that if I had to guess, they probably don't have a marketing department specifically for the Corvette. They probably just have a marketing department, in general for GM
But that's
cars.
kind of dumb. They could always be better,
Right.
right? Like they could
Yeah,
always sell
absolutely.
more. That
Absolutely.
seems like an untapped. The profit margins are high on the Corvette, right? Like they have high, other than the base models, all the other ones that are loaded cars,
They
profit
make
margins
money.
are pretty high, even though it's not a high volume. It's 50,000 cars a year for
Yeah.
the C8, whatever. But still, they can maximize that. It could be 100,000 if they really pushed it. They just
Yeah.
don't. I don't feel like they put the effort into.
Well, honestly,
it's
at this
literally a brand.
point, there's really almost no reason to have a marketing team that exists outside of social media. So if you
Right.
have a marketing team, make them specifically for YouTube, Instagram, and probably TikTok.
Exactly.
You're gonna sell.
That.
You're gonna sell way more anyway that way.
Sure.
And honestly, you're gonna pay the people far less than you would have had to get them
Right.
on TV. So
Yep.
Right.
I mean,
Well, and Justin,
Keep Harlan, bring in the 20-year-old that knows how to do all that shit, and that's how you sell.
and
it.
have Harlan,
That
yeah,
right there.
have Harlan drill on, and
Get a
that's
good
the way
car.
to do it.
Yep.
yeah, and Justin, just to kind of piggyback off of what you just said. So one of the ladies I work with, her son is 17. What is the car he wants right now? What is the car? It's a Z06. Like, how is a 17-year-old
No, what is he?
the only car I want and know what that is? Why? Social media.
Social media.
There's no magazines. There's no TV commercials. He
Actually,
sees
you know
it on
what,
social media all the
David? You know
time.
what it is
And that's-
specifically is the RSC ad of my car.
Yes.
Probably.
I told him too. I told her, I was like, hey, you guys should come out, visit. I'll take your son out. Like we'll rip it up in the Z06. Like, but he's 17 and that's like his dream
Yeah.
car. Like Brandon and I, we had Countach's on the wall. We had,
Yeah,
you
so
know,
did I.
all kinds like this. And why? He don't watch TV. He plays video games and watches social media, but that's his car of his dreams.
But also too, remember the Z06 is in a lot of the video games, if I'm not mistaken.
I was
right?
just
It
gonna
is on
say
paper.
they added that
Privilege.
into Forza Motorsport or something not too long
Forza,
ago,
That's right.
and so
Yeah.
I mean he probably does see it that way too. And yeah,
And it's smoking all the other cars on there because it smokes them in real life, right? So there's that. No, I think that is that Tim Corvette. That may be the Tim I know. I know a Tim in Atlanta. It's the same guy. He lives near Douglas over there.
Okay. Yeah, man, hit us up.
he was at Corvettes at Carlisle. I'm pretty sure. I met him at
Yes,
this
that's
past
the
year.
same Tim.
That's
Yeah.
the same Tim.
Super,
Okay,
super,
good. Yeah.
super nice dude. Absolutely love
Like
my
Douglas-
dad.
Yeah,
Bill or something
he
like
was at Justin or David. You weren't there. It was the time that we went. I was with Nate, so Nate actually got
Oh,
to meet
okay.
him.
I think
when
he's
we were
one from
over.
Douglasville, though. I think I have his number.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
He's got a super nice C7, like
That's him.
super nice. He's got a C8
That's
too
him.
as well, but the C7
Yeah,
Z06
that's
is really
him.
nice.
Bill Miller says, Justin, you must have some really long arms to keep patting yourself on the back with all those RSC marketings. Like I said, guys, I like my car a lot. I'm not gonna pretend I don't, but at the same time, RSC has it on their website because it's demonstrating products that they literally didn't have on anybody else's car. So I can take that and
And
make
they
it
look
sound
great.
like it's because my car's awesome, but that's really not why.
Yep. Well, you know, and the big push with these companies now, it's money, right? They want to do the ZR1, they want to do these things, but you know, where do they make their money? They make their money in pickups and stuff like that. Like, I mean, the
Yeah.
money is the pickups, right? These
Pickups,
things
SUVs.
are-
Yep.
yeah, exactly. So-
And that's the thing is like Chevy. One of you, either David or Brandon, mentioned that Chevy makes money on the Corvette. They probably don't make a lot of money on the Corvette. The money is made with the
they
trucks
lose
and the
money
SUVs.
on every base.
Yeah.
They lose money on every base.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought the profit margin though on the higher end.
Oh,
in
three
general on the
LZs.
Corvette
Yeah,
was pretty
three
decent.
LZs they make a ton of money on. Yeah. No,
Yep.
but
And that's
when
why-
they were talking
Not the
about
base
the
model.
If you look at the amount of them sold every year, the 3LZ, 3LT, there's always the most made of that trim because they got to make
Right.
some money on this thing. I mean,
well,
they put initially, I can't remember the exact number, but it was in the $1 billion range
Right.
to set up the
Right.
C8 platform. So they
Well,
got to make some money.
they make money, but one of the things when we did our tour for the plant when we picked up our cars blew me away. A truck rolls off one of their plants every like 90 seconds. And then when they were talking about the strike, when they were striking like right around the time we were supposed to get our cars in 2023, there was a stat that blew me. They make $50,000 a minute selling trucks, making trucks. Every minute that line is open, it makes $50,000 a minute. That's absolutely
Oh my
mind blowing
God.
when compare that to Corvette money, right? They're making money, but it ain't making money like truck money.
I don't.
So that's part of the corporate strategy where they're like, hey, we'll give you Corvette, but Corvette's not selling trucks.
So guys, I don't know how I missed this, but again, I'm texting in the background here, and I just Googled it for giggles to see Harlan Charles, his his official job title at GM was product marketing manager for Corvette.
Yeah, I know he had to do with marketing. I don't know.
That's
It wasn't
literally
all his
so.
stuff.
Everything we're
Yeah, yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about the failed marketing attempts here, this does fall on Harlan to some degree. So
That's a good point.
yeah, I mean,
Don't really know what to say about
I
that
was
part.
going to say I for some reason I did not think that was his title. I don't know why. I don't know what I thought his title was, but he was the
Well,
guy
when
in
he lists all
charge.
the accolades, that is interesting. I mean, that kind of would change the whole conversation. We really couldn't focus on that at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, we probably should have, because now it's like maybe he did. I wouldn't say he deserved to necessarily be fired, but maybe he should have been. I don't know.
Yeah,
brought
but
up
I'll
to
be honest
speed.
with you though, the Z06 marketing was on point. So I mean,
That's true.
you know,
So I mean,
with
what
yeah,
it,
with
Yeah.
the
he
doing
he
the
dropped
email, like
he dropped the ball
Yeah.
on the E-Ray.
Bill.
Yeah, he dropped the ball on the E-Ray, but he freaking hit a home run on the Z06. How does that happen? And the thing is,
Yeah, exactly.
I think Harlan, somebody got him on a video asking him what car he preferred, the Z06 or the E-Ray, and he did say the Z06. So it's almost as if he marketed the Z06 heavily himself because he liked the car, whereas the E-Ray he didn't feel the same about, so there wasn't as much of a push. But that doesn't explain why there's not much of a push on the ZR1 then either.
And regardless, that still doesn't change the fact that 30 years of tenure, like none of that changes. Like
I
you
agree.
don't
I
kick
agree.
Yeah, no,
that
that's
guy out.
that does
Regardless
not
of whether you
change.
want to change directions on the marketing, whatever, you still don't kick that guy out. Like that's just
Well,
not
but-
the guy that you get rid of.
But back to my point about where GM makes their money. I see a pickup truck ad, Ford or Chevy, every other commercial, no matter what I'm watching.
Yep.
They're still spending boatloads of money on traditional advertising, billboards, everything else. Like, I mean, that's where they make their money. That's where they're going to do most of their advertising. But, you're right. Maybe it was, the way the E-Ray was marketed, the way it rolled out. The rollout was horrible. Like, it was so bad. I'm surprised they sold any with how bad the marketing and rollout was. Like, I mean, just being honest, like crazy.
Yeah. Huh. Well, yeah, I mean, regardless of how you cut this, it's unfortunately, yeah, Seawolf 06, I did get your entries. Yep. It's actually not going to be $50 because the Canadian exchange here, I don't think it works out quite like that, but it will be, I'll make sure you get the right amount of entries. At the end of the day, apparently Harlan was a victim of basically just not doing a good enough job advertising, which is kind of surprising because in the grand scheme of things, the C8 has been advertised so well that you, like we were just talking about, you literally couldn't even get one for the first 5 years of its existence. So even if he did a poor job on the E-Ray and possibly the ZR1, he still did a good enough job that you can't get one of the freaking things. So it's like, is that really? It doesn't seem like a reason to fire somebody.
I don't know. I'm with Brandon though on like keep him as a consultant at the very minimum.
Yeah.
Make him a
Or
consultant.
if, I don't know what the severance package is, but I mean, a guy that has 30 plus years tenure, he needs like a 5-year minimum full salary severance package. Like you get that guy, you do him right.
Oh, don't
You don't
don't
just
worry, Red Z06. I'm
deuces,
running a
see you
list
later.
of questions at the back that I'm going to ask, and that is definitely one.
Guys, let's smash the thumbs up button. We are really close to hitting 200. We got over 200 people in here watching still, so smash the thumbs up. Let's get that number to 200, and that'd be awesome. I want to,
guys, come on.
I want to kind of talk one more time about RSC, Racing Sport Concepts, and their beautiful carbon fiber. We are giving away 2 different spoilers for the month of February. One will be for the C8 Stingray, and the other one will be for the Z06/E-Ray. So if you want to get entered, every $10 is an entry. Every $50 or more is double entries. We're going to be running this giveaway next Monday night for the Stingray, and then at the end of February for the Z06. So make sure you guys get entered. As of right now, David is the leader of the amount of money entered for this. So don't let him walk away with this thing, guys.
Ooh, 199. Come on, somebody give us one more thumbs up. Come on, guys.
Now, David, I want the duckbill spoiler. So
You
I'm
want
hoping
that
you
one?
win this one, huh? I do kind of want that one. I want to try to win that
Okay,
one.
that's
I'm
fine.
gonna
I
put
mean,
money in next week. I think. I'm
well,
not gonna.
actually, if I win it and you won it, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I was just gonna use it for the
Giveaway.
no the project car we're gonna build, but all right.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, good
Yeah.
idea.
So,
Okay, there you go.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry guys, you didn't hear that.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so guys,
Rewind.
there's
Play.
a couple other things I wanted to talk about tonight. I know we're running really low on time. Actually, we're well past, but I wanted to mention really quick. I did make a video talking about the maintenance on the C8 Corvette transmission, which I'll be honest with you, I did not expect that video to do as well as it did. Apparently, a lot of people have a lot of questions about that, and it's even more than I thought. So for those of you watching who haven't seen that video yet, you might want to check out the video, but ultimately it comes down to three things, three pretty easy things. Number one, change your transmission filter before 8,000 miles. Number two, you do not have to do the flush procedure, even though you see it here circled. Again, this was on the Corvette forum where everybody was convinced if you don't do that flush procedure first, GM will void your warranty. You do not have to do that. There's actually a video in my video from the GM engineers themselves. I can't remember the person who said it now, but he flat out says you do not have to do the flush procedure. That's just something that's done at the dealership because they can. As you drive the car, it naturally does the same flush procedure. And number three, make sure you change your transmission fluid before 3 years. So if you own a 2021, you should be changing that transmission fluid right now. It doesn't matter if you have 10 miles on the car. 3 years is the time frame. So change it before 3 years or 45,000 miles.
Yeah, that was good information on that video. I like my dealer told me about the 3-year thing when I went to have all my stuff reset and the seatbelt stuff for the recall, but I didn't know that it does the flush thing like that. So that was really good information on that vid. That vid was awesome.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
I made that video thinking, I've seen this question pop up a lot. I get this question a lot, but I had no idea that it was going to be something that many people wanted to know about. So
hey, that's what everybody goes to YouTube for, is get answers a lot on this stuff. So
that's there's a lot of it. So yeah, guys, I got everybody's entries in here. I just got one from Darren. I got you in there too. You guys are you're entered in there. Of course, we're going to be giving away the Stingray one next week. So if you want to win that Stingray spoiler, make sure you get entered in by next week at the latest. This entire month is sponsored by Racing Sport Concepts, and honestly, I'm going to have their boomerangs for the Z06 probably within the next week, and I'll be making a video about that too. So perfect timing for Racing Sport Concepts to sponsor the channel because they're also sending me parts. So February 14th, guys, if you're in the area, February 14th to 17th is the Pittsburgh International Auto Show. My car will be down there with blackout tinting, which typically runs the entire first floor of that show. So come out, check out the car. I'll be there as well. Say hi. I invited both these other guys on the channel too here. So if they want to come, they'll be there too. Maybe. So
Seawolf, dbmracing2019@gmail.com. Email me, and I'll talk to you about that, buddy.
can you not put that in there?
It won't let me put it in for the.
Yeah.
It like takes it out. Yeah.
I just put it in. I don't know why it does that. It won't do it. It doesn't do it for me, but it
It's
won't let
probably a
anybody
spam
else.
thing or something, but
Yeah.
Seawolf, please email me after the live stream because I know you were very interested in that, and I told Justin that if I wasn't going to specifically use it, I would give that away. So
Okay.
208, look at us go!
Guys, we killed it with the thumbs ups tonight. Thank you all for the support.
And we had over 300 something watching at one point.
Yep. Josh Holder said no flush necessary. GM only does because they can't. Maybe it was Josh Holder. I can't remember who it was on the video now. But yeah, I got it all in my video, guys. If you want to see it, it's the video I just put up last night. Talks all about
And
the
it's a great
maintenance.
video.
All about the maintenance on your transmission. And honestly, it's really not hard. Like I said, there's three things. Change the filter before 8,000 miles, the fluid before 3 years or 45,000 miles, and you don't have to do the flush. Those are the three things you got to remember.
Yeah, it's a really good. I commented and sent Justin a text right away how good that video was.
Yeah, you did. I appreciate it.
It
Nice.
was great, man. I was like,
It's good news for a DIY guys. I feel like for
it
sure.
is. It is because
100%.
somebody commented and said you can actually get the scan tool to do the flush for like $200 or something, and I said, great, I get it.
Who cares?
But it's
Yeah.
$200 that you don't need to spend because you don't need to do it. So don't spend the $200. Save your money and
Right.
buy a filter instead.
I kind of want the tool though. I might get the tool anyway.
Well,
Kind of want the
and, you
tool.
know,
David, you got one now, don't you? Don't you have one?
I
of those
got one
tools
now
or
too.
something?
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where like
Yours is fancier, I think, than the $200 one, isn't it?
Uh,
Isn't it like a
well,
fancy one?
yeah, but again, if you need it, you can. I mean, you can have it for however. Oh, look,
I
212.
thought I was
Look at
going
us
to need it
go.
for the brakes, but I got lucky than getting.
Oh.
Well,
it,
I was
so-
going to ask you that. I know this is on the line, but like I was going to ask you that actually if you needed it. So
I was going to actually see where we're at with how many more subs I need.
And Gordon said your maintenance video was excellent. Yeah, it was, dude.
Thank you.
I mean, we always check each other's stuff, but like I immediately sent you a text and like commented how good that video was.
Yep. So I need 63 more to hit 100,000, guys. I appreciate that,
So close,
Gordon.
guys.
Thank you. Yeah, and see, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Red C806 says the dealer charges $1,000 to change the transmission fluid. It's not even a flush procedure. It's a drain
Not
and
anymore.
fill.
Yeah, exactly.
So you buy the
Exactly.
fluid and you pump it into the transmission. I bet you get that fluid for less than $400. You just saved yourself $600. It's not that hard.
Yep. Yep.
Harlan will be missed. I feel bad for him, but it is what it is, guys. Hopefully the next guy in there is just as good, if not better, and then we'll go from there, I guess. Anyway, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up. We are well over our time frame. I appreciate all the support. Smash the thumbs ups. Get people to subscribe so we can hit 100,000. That would be freaking awesome, guys. I
Yeah,
appreciate it. We'll see you guys all same time, same place next Monday night.
Thanks, guys.